Noon Experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you until around 5 o'clock this afternoon. The number to get on board, 513-717-5464, 513-717-5464. That's the number to get on board. Welcome, Sierra from Boston. All right, Boston in the house, checking us out. TC from Kentucky. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. You all right? Your nose feel all right? Okay. TC, I poked the little baby in the nose. It was an accident. And my fingernails are a little longer than I like them to be, so she got a little scar on her nose. It's my fault. Tony. Hey, what's up? 513-717-5464. Yo Underwood from the JC. Okay, not 100% sure what that means. Scott from College Hill. Welcome to the show, Scott. Got McConnell. He just saying, what's up? All right. Brenda from Fairfield. Welcome. Good afternoon, Olympia from Westchester. Just came from Westchester. All right. Myosha. Yes, the Janice hat is making an appearance. Yes. Because it was cold outside. I just came in from outside. For those of you who don't know, my day is a little busy. I got a little side gig that I go to, and then I drive from Liberty Township to pick up the little baby in Cincinnati. I ain't gonna tell y'all what school, because I don't want y'all rushing to school and be out there and have to hire security to keep y'all away. I don't really think y'all would do that. But I go pick her up, and then I come here. And we get out the car and we come straight here. So I still got my coat right here behind me. Got my coat, and I take off my coat. Sometimes I take off my hat. She sits right there. She took off her coat. Shocking. She normally just sit there in her coat, and she does what she does. So yeah, it's just, so I didn't take off the hat. All it had to say, I didn't take off the hat. Kenny D. Good afternoon from Coleraine Township. Diane, good afternoon. I don't know where you checking in from, Diane. Where you checking in from? Anthony, checking in from Clifton. Cleopatra. Is that your real name? Your real name Cleopatra for real? Or is that just, the name that you use? Nothing wrong with it. If your mama names you Cleopatra, ain't nothing wrong with that. Just not like a common name now. Miss Pittsburgh. Miss Pittsburgh says, good afternoon. We're not sure if she's in Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, or Kentucky. But there's a good chance Miss Pittsburgh is in one of those areas. Greg, hello. Hello, Greg. Sabrina. Brini from Montgomery. Are you in Alabama for real? Are you saying that, or are you really down there? If so, tell the people down there, I'm thinking about putting together a documentary. Interview all of the aunts and different older relatives and just do a Livingston family documentary. Nate been on the whole history and tracking down relatives and all of that kind of stuff. So I've communicated with him and, trying to wait and see if Nick will get on board. And so we can flat out do a documentary. So tell them to get ready. I need somebody to do hair and makeup. I don't do hair and makeup. Crystal, good afternoon from Fairmount. Myosha, you ain't even spelling it right. See, trying to be on the inside and you ain't even spelling it right. Sending a shout out to Brini. Vincent, good afternoon. Good afternoon from Evendale. CK, aka Lewis. Ross Freeman, who believes some kind of weird, whacked out stuff, but that's all right. All opinions are welcome. They're not all respected here, but they're all welcome. That's the truth. Crystal checking in from Forest Park. All right, Anthony. We got David from Hebron. All right, say you working. You working. I don't know why every time somebody say they work in Hebron, I think Amazon. You working at Amazon? Let's see. Butler Brown from Cartersville, Georgia. McConnell say he from Fairfield. Got Tria. Tria, good afternoon from Columbia Township. Miss Pittsburgh say, yeah, she back in Columbus now. Jeannie from the Commonwealth. I know it's the state, but it's the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And it ain't that great. It ain't that great. But it exists. So, you know. Let's see. My husband's uncle did a family documentary, but passed away before he could finish it. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, hopefully that don't happen to me. Crystal says her mama family is from Tuskegee, Alabama. We don't respect Tuskegee, Alabama, and my family. I'm just lying about that. But that was the whole Alabama State versus Tuskegee, and they had the Turkey Day Classic every year. So there was some friendly rivalry there. Ben says, what's up? What's up, Ben? Don says he's not in Amazon. You can't go one day without picking on somebody. I'm not picking on anybody. I would not do that. Fame, y'all favorite, Fame Rothstein. I think he's Jewish. In here. Let's see. Did I watch the Terrence Crawford fight? No, I didn't even know Terrence Crawford had a fight. No, I didn't. Dwayne from Mount Airy. Tony says, when y'all do y'all family documentary, are you going to show pictures of you when you was a little bit in your wrestling outfit? It's that the documentary is not about me. It's about the family. Kind of the history, all of the things that have, how we got there and, the family. So yeah, no, it's not about me. It's not about me. Gorgeous Rick Rhodes will not be mentioned in the documentary. But Gorgeous Rick Rhodes was somebody. Shahara. Hold on. You say your name is Shahara, but it's spelled Shahira. How is it Shahara? Wouldn't that I be a A if it were actually Shahara? We got rules for spelling in the English language. Like the person who likes people to call them Sade. Her name is spelled S-A-D-E. That's Sade every day of the week. Her name is Sade. It's not Sade. When you go to the barbershop, I haven't been there in a long time, but you don't get a fade. You get a fade. The woman name is Sade. And as far as I'm concerned, until you can explain to me, your name is Shahira. I told you already. Get on my mama about that. Oh, there's a story behind it. Okay. All right. Let's see. I got a couple things. Oh, Robert Willis. Robert, you kind of late, Robert. Normally the first one in here. But what's up, Robert from Anderson Township? What's up? Got a couple things that I wanted to discuss. Hold on, before I do, let me say this. Yesterday, I was a little busy. I was out and about. I will not be in Wednesday or Thursday. Maybe not Friday. Not sure about Friday yet. Definitely not Wednesday and Thursday. And the reason why, it's the kids. I'll be at a high school. I don't want to say which one because again, I don't want y'all all over there, King of Tong, and then be trying to pull on me and like, get off me. I don't want that to happen. I don't need a repeat of that. I don't need a repeat of that. But I would not be here. I will be volunteering at a high school, helping the kids, doing some stuff. And, I don't like to talk about the stuff that I do, but I'm only telling y'all this because I will not be here on Wednesday or Thursday. I might be back Friday. I'm not 100% sure about that. I would say right now I'm about 70% that I will be here on Friday. 0% that I will be here on Wednesday and Thursday because I know I'll be at the school. All right. So there's that. Secondly, I know I promised the king and I today. But it didn't happen because Wyatt, he got scared because he knew I was going to tear that ass up today. I was ready for him today. I was going to tear that ass up. And he was like, look, you hit me too hard. I don't even want to go on and be embarrassed like that. So I'm not going to go on with you today. I'm not going to go on with you this week. And then maybe that subject will pass and we won't ever bring it up. So you don't got to tear me up like that. Make sure you tell him I said that. It's not true. He had some other stuff going on that he couldn't make it today. But tell him I said. He was scared because he knew I was going to tear that ass up today. We're going to tear him up. I wanted to talk about that Brittany Griner with him because I haven't had a chance to talk about it with him. I was going to cut him up today. Just tell him I said that. But the truth is he had some other stuff that was much more important than doing the king and I to do. And I would tell you what it was, but that ain't my business to share. But, I hope everything goes well. And yeah, I hope everything goes well. Much more important than this. And I celebrate with him. All right. But don't tell him I said that part. Tell him the part about he was scared to come on because I was going to whoop up on him real bad and he didn't want to be embarrassed. That's what I want to get out to him. Let's see. So I'm guessing we not talking about Deion Sanders. They had no intention on talking about Deion Sanders. Did he do something? That I should be talking about? Ross Freeman and I want to be clear about this. I got no problem with homosexuals. Some of my best friends are homosexuals. I've had homosexuals over my house for dinner. It's true. So I got no problem with homosexuals. None. But this guy, Ross Freeman, takes everything and turns it into something homosexual. And I think that only undercover homosexuals do that about literally everything. Like, I'll do it if you say something that really lends itself to a misinterpretation. I'll do it just because it's silly. And y'all know I'm childish. So I will do it. But everything. If I say, I really like this hat, that's some homosexual stuff. You'd be like, how is that homosexual? How is me liking the hat homosexual? Because it's knitted, and women knit, and so you probably like knitting, so you homosexual. Where did that come from? That don't make any sense. So, yeah. So, just know, anything I say, he gonna come back with something to make it homosexual. I be wondering, was he in the same situation that I believe Marcus was in? I truly believe Marcus, if you don't know who Marcus is, he's a caller to the Lincoln Ware Show on a regular basis. And literally every time he calls, something is homosexual and something is about pedophiles. That's it. Pedophiles and homosexual. You can say they need to pave Vine Street. Them pedophiles with all of that asphalt. See, it's asphalt. You know, they homosexuals. You'd be like, what? How did you come to that? They said it's some potholes and they need to be paved. Potholes. See, like, what? That don't make sense. But I believe, I don't have any proof of this. I believe he was molested as a child, which is why he's really against pedophiles, which I'm for being against pedophiles. But I believe that somehow that messed him up, his sexual identity. And he doesn't understand now why he's attracted to men sexually. But he hates that about himself, even though he can't help it. And so he takes every opportunity he can to bash homosexuals to come off as really manly. But he really just kind of probably telling on himself. And so he hates that part of himself because he wished that he could change it. But he can't. And it's tragic. It's tragic. And I'm wondering if that's the same thing with Mr. Freeman. But that wasn't what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to get that stuff out of the way. So no King and I this week. And again, Wednesday and Thursday, I won't be here. But it's for the kids. It's for the kids. I wanted to talk a little bit about the CPS. CPS. Now, Aranetta, what's her name? Aranetta? Is that her name? Aranetta, what is her last name? Why can't I remember her last name? What? Wright. Aranetta Wright. The school report card came out, and it wasn't good. CPS, report card came out, and it wasn't good. Overall, CPS is not meeting any state standards. None. Some individual schools, but as a district overall, none. In terms of 3-star rating means that the district is meeting the standard. And I think it was 5 stars, 1 to 5 stars. So of course, 1 being the least that you can get, 5 being the most, 3 being you're at the minimum state standards. In terms of achievement, CPS scored 2 stars. In terms of progress, CPS 2 stars. In terms of gap closing, CPS 2 stars. In terms of early literacy, CPS 2 stars. In terms of graduation, CPS 1 star. Achievement, progress, gap closing, and early literacy, 2 stars. That's below the state standards. Graduation, 1 star. That's the worst that one can get. She's going to be doing the state of the school address. Is that what it's called? She's doing the state of the school's address. And, that's not good. That's not good. She says the district is more than just a report card, but it does show that there's room for improvement. Says, my thoughts when the school report card came out is that we are still coming off a pandemic. Got to ride that pandemic thing. And so we want to make sure we're really focused in the areas that may be of concern so we can work with our families, work with our staff, so they're very clear on I'm assuming where we're going next as a district, because we have lots of work to do. And now, look, you can't blame the superintendent because she's, relatively new. So you can't blame the superintendent for this. And there's a conversation about, can you blame teachers? Can you blame, is it just the families? It's everything. It's everything. And just to be realistic about it, from my perspective, families, parents, got to do something. When I say got to do something, I mean, you got to put in work to get your child up to speed. If your child can't, read, or your child doesn't know the alphabet by the time they, get to school or any of that kind of stuff. Maybe not read. Preschool. Oh, kids can't read in the preschool, but they should be on their way. When they go to school, let's say they start kindergarten, then it shouldn't be a blank slate. They're behind, way behind, if they don't know their ABCs and stuff like that. If they don't know some stuff like 1 + 1 is 2, simple stuff that you can teach, sight words and stuff like that. Begin teaching them that stuff. But again, that stuff begins at home before the kid ever goes to a single school. That stuff begins at home. And I would imagine, I'm just guessing, I keep getting these cold chills. That's why I'm shaking. I don't know, these cold chills up my back. I genuinely don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, but it keeps happening. But I would argue probably most of us, most of the 60-something people watching live right now, most of us realize this if we had children when they were born, and we did something. Even if you put them in front of Sesame Street and let them learn, let the count 1, 2, what I'm saying? You let the count so they knew how to count to 10 and they knew some of their ABCs or whatever. You might not have done it, but you thought it was important, and so you did small things to help them along educationally, if that's a word. But some of it, and I see a few of these comments, and I agree. It's a cultural thing. Sheila says, I blame the culture. How do you expect the kids to behave if the parents don't behave? I don't necessarily agree with that. But it is a bit of a cultural thing. I agree. Angela says, you see what some of these parents name their children, and you expect them to have a foundational start with literacy? You asking a lot. I don't think what you name your child necessarily has anything to do with them being literate. I've seen some funky names. That's not fair. Just because I wouldn't name my child that doesn't mean that, there's something wrong with the name. But I've seen some names that I wouldn't name my child that, and they grow up to be, very well educated, well adjusted people. So the name doesn't do it. The name isn't it. But it is a bit of a cultural and a parental thing. A bit more of a parental, less of a cultural, although they're both very important. And I don't know if in our culture, and when I say our culture, I'm not talking about black people. See, some of y'all well, see, black people this and black people that. It's some dumbass white kids out there too. A lot of them. A lot of white parents who don't teach their children to read or count or write or think. So it's not a black thing, even though I know, that's what we tend to think about when we talk about it. We tend to think about the black kids and the black parents and the ghetto this and all of that kind of stuff. We tend to think about that, but that's not. See, a whole lot of times it's not the case. But it is important. I don't know. Quintano said something. He wants to know, wouldn't that be parents as opposed to culture? And Dante says, how do you explain some kids in the same situation at the same school achieving great things? Sometimes people have to take self-accountability. It could be the parents' involvement, teachers, or whatever. But if they want to learn, they can and will. I'm not sure what you're asking. When you say take some self-accountability, Who? Who takes self-accountability? A 4-year-old should take it. You're responsible for you not being able to read. A 5-year-old, well, you should have learned. It's on you. Who should be taking the self accountability? I don't understand the question that you're asking. I mean, sure, at some point, it's up to the individual student. But if you handicap a student intellectually, you don't teach them things when they're young and you give them values that are not that of education. Can you blame the child? So when you say self accountability, I'm just not 100% sure who it is that you want to take the self accountability. I'm not sure. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see. Scott says, but the kids can find their favorite shows on a phone. I believe they are smarter than we may give them credit for. Just the parents are not teaching them the right things. Yeah. Kids learn. Kids learn. What they learn, a lot of that has to do with their environment, their parents, what they're exposed to. Yes, a lot of that does in those very early formative years. No doubt about it. But again, I'm not sure. I'm not blaming a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old for not being able to write, not being able to read or count. I'm not blaming the 5 and the 6-year-old for that. I'm blaming their parents. And then once they get into the school system, I'm blaming the parents for starting them out behind. And then I'm blaming the school system if they can't help them catch up. Okay, here's Dante. Dante's clearing it up. The students need to take some self-accountability to learn and study. Again, maybe at a certain point. Like if you're talking about like junior high, high school kids, sure. If you're talking about really young kids, 5 years old, like it's your responsibility to. If the 5-year-old came and it does carry over. Sure, some people can overcome it because people do learn things differently and, different aptitudes and all of that kind of stuff. That's a real thing. But again, if I have a child and I teach them that material things are the most important thing in the world, and I never read to them. I never, teach them their numbers, the alphabet, anything like that. I don't even put them in school to the kindergarten. So now they're 5 years old and they barely know their name and they don't know how to count and they don't know the alphabet and they've never written a letter. When I say written a letter, I mean the letter A. You've never had them write. You've never had them think about education. And then I put that child in the school system. You can't blame the 5-year-old because he didn't read and study. And then that can play out because now that kid is so far behind and different people deal with different things. Different people deal with different things differently. So if that kid is that far behind, can they catch up by a certain time? Sure. But people have to work extra hard to get them there. And again, this is all just my take on it. If I've instilled a lack of respect for education, I say a lack of respect, even just by not putting any emphasis on education. If I've instilled a lack of respect for education, and y'all know some of the cultural things that are happening in the world. And I teach them, that I don't know, just the kind of shoes you got on are what's important, or how long your eyelashes are is what's important, or how long your hair is what's important, or any of that nonsense. Any of that nonsense. Now they already behind. So now they already got an uphill battle to catch up to a 5-year-old. The 5-year-old got an uphill battle to catch up with the other 5-year-olds. But remember what he values or what she values. So, how is it's going to be hard to get them there. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I don't know that I necessarily blame. I think all of this, not all of it, but a lot of this initially goes on the parents. I don't even know that anybody can argue that. To argue that it's the kid's fault, that they were never taught how to count or the alphabet or never read to, I think that's misguided. Now then, once you get to a certain age, yes, the school system has to be able to look at that and evaluate that and say, wow, this kid is behind. What can we do to catch this kid up? And again, some of that goes to how, I'm trying to think of how to say it. How bright is the kid? How smart is the kid in terms of, can they pick up concepts? Or they can pick up that phone and find, maybe they can't. I know we think all kids just pick up a phone and is a whiz at it, but some of them can't. Like some of them, mama or daddy or big brother or whatever has to walk them through or go to what they want to see on YouTube Kids. They not watching YouTube Kids. Some of them have to go through what they want to see on TikTok because they don't know how to navigate it. Everyone doesn't have the same ability to grasp concepts and put them into practice. That's just the truth. That's why we have some geniuses out here. They exist. And then we have some slow people. No offense, Ross Freeman. But we have some slow people out here who, they can't grasp concepts. Stuff like that is really hard for them. That's real. So now that the school system got to catch them up, or at least try. And then here's where it's the school system. Because they should have plans in place for that stuff. They should have plans in place for that stuff. It is the parents who's part of a culture that doesn't support education. All right. Hold on. Let's see. A lot of parents use the television as the kid's babysitter while they go in the back room and get high or sit on their phones all day. And that's true. That exists. I wish they would choose educational television, but a lot of times they don't. Because, even that would help. Like, ain't nobody, my parent never read to me. My parents always in the back room getting high. But they stuck me in front of, and there's so much stuff on YouTube. I remember when the little baby was a little baby, like 6 months old. Maybe a little older than that. But her mama, I know they would read to her and all that kind of stuff. But there were things on YouTube that little baby would just watch over and over and over. And it was like education. She used to love, there's this video of Usher singing the alphabet. And if she was crying and you don't know what's wrong with this little baby, why she crying? Put on Usher singing the alphabet. That's what her mama told me. Put on Usher singing the alphabet. What? And she don't go to YouTube, type in Usher sing the alphabet, Sesame Street. And she would watch Usher sing the alphabet. And I figured out, really early, you put them that educational stuff and they can learn stuff. Like, I'm sure she wasn't aware I'm learning the alphabet. But she enjoyed it, and as she began to be able to talk, she could sing that little song. So that's how, a part of how anyway, she learned the alphabet. So I don't know that there's necessarily anything wrong necessarily with letting kids watch TV. Just what are they watching? You got to be, what's the word that I'm looking for? I'm one of them COVID long haulers because I had the word right there. Right there. It was right there. You got to be purposeful. That wasn't the word, but when you're raising kids, and you got to think about all of that stuff because kids are always learning. It's just a matter of what are they learning? What are they learning? Anthony says, kids today can memorize every dumb A rap song, but don't know what 2 + 2 is. And have them listen, kids. Because if you're the parent, the parent, have them listening to catchy educational rap songs. That's still the parent's fault. It's not the kid's fault. That's still the parent's fault. Still the parent's fault. Sheila says, most Black children are brilliant. Most children, period, have the capacity. That's not the word I'm looking for. To be brilliant. She says they just aren't being nurtured at home. And a lot of times that's the case. But then they go to a school system. And I just think, if we all know that this is a thing, the school system has to know that this is a thing. And they got to be prepared for that. Brent, and that's where Brent, I believe, is going. Teachers and counselors can also identify those children who are bright and are just bored with the work they have. Yeah. 513-717-5464. 513. Thank you. Intentional. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. Miss Pittsburgh said, that's so true. That's how my grandson was when his mama sang to him and talked to him, and he just turned 1, and he is smart as all outdoors. Yeah. So you have to be intentional when you're raising a child. And that's easy to say. It's actually relatively easy to do. But again, we know we're living in a culture where there are a lot of people who don't do it. And it's easy to say, okay, I blame the parents. All right, cool. You blame the parents. Now what? We can't just throw their kids away. Because we got to deal with their kids every day as they grow and get older and get older and get older. We still got to deal with, you go in the back, you put them in front of the TV, or, you turn on the Wiz, or, whatever. Why am I hating on the Wiz? I don't know. Wiz ain't never did nothing to me. Some of the people there tried, but I don't know why I'm hating on the Wiz. But y'all understand what I'm saying. You turn on the Wiz, you turn on some music videos, and that's what they learn from, which is horrible. Because what they learn in, especially in these hip hop songs and these hip hop videos. So what they're learning. So, okay, they're bad parents. But again, we can't just say they got bad parents. The hell with them. Because then we have to deal with them. We have to deal with them causing havoc in our community. We have to deal with them causing havoc around the city and around the world. So yes, that's where the school system has to come in and say, we got problems that we got to fix. And I'm sorry, school system, but y'all chose to be a school system. It's y'all responsibility to fix it. And I got a call coming in. Brent, welcome to the afternoon
Hey,
experiment.
hey, what's going on, Emmanuel? How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, and you?
Oh, I'm doing good, doing good. We had some bad storms roll through, but all is well,
All right.
which is a good thing. Hey, but you're talking about education, and that is the thing that is going to be more likely to get black people as a whole to the next level. Not basketball, not football, not any other sport or entertainment that's out there. And that's one area that we really are going to need to change our mindset. When you think of the amount of money that people put into putting their sons on these AAU teams, on these travel teams, some of them it's like $10,000 to $15,000 a year just to be able to participate in it. Or like down here for football, which is just absolutely insane. They spend all this money on the sports when you look at the actual statistics, and you're talking less than 2 and 3% of the overall kids that starting off in high school that even make it. It's like 2 or 3% that actually play in college, and then you have goodness. I think it's another 2 to 3% out of that 2% that actually make it to the league, which then the average career is only what 2 to 3 years. So you just wind up in this, you're essentially gambling or using your child as a lottery ticket, in order to make that big score. So, my focus with my sons has always been education. My mom's focus, with all of us growing up with the education, and that's where we really really got to get back to, and stop trying to hit that lick or get that scratch off with your kids, because some of these parents are wild when it comes to that.
Okay,
But
now I understand. I think what you're saying. I don't wholeheartedly agree with it because
okay.
look, the goal, of course, isn't always, hey, my kid's going to go to the NFL or the NBA or major leagues or anything like that. It's if your
Mm-hmm.
child shows a love and in particular a certain skill set for those
Mm-hmm.
sports and whatnot, that's just encouraging for some people. That's just
Right.
encouraging that thing. So it's not always like, my son was really good at football, really good at
Mm-hmm.
football. And, he did the traveling teams and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't
Right.
thinking,
Right.
oh, he going to go to the NFL. I was thinking he really is enjoying himself. And I use that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't
Right.
play. If your grades ain't up to par, you can't play. You know what I'm saying? It all depend. Again,
Yeah.
you have to be intentional. It all depend on how
Oh
you
yeah.
do it. But I mean, I agree with you. A lot of those parents that were coming up with him, they were talking about,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he gonna be playing on Sunday, and I'm like, probably not. But okay,
Yeah, I remember parents when I was coaching, parents getting upset that I had sat my son for. So there was another kid on the team. He was the best player on the team. My son was like maybe third or fourth. I knew where his skills were, and it wasn't basketball. But the parents, oh well, by sitting him, you're punishing the team, and I'm like, I don't care.
right.
He has to learn that these grades are first and foremost. That's what we're gonna start with is at the grades. But it starts at a young age where you have to instill you have to make learning fun for children. You have to find different ways and different avenues in order to pique their interest. Because one of the things before the pandemic that I used to do was go to the Boys and Girls Club. We got several around here, and we got several, that have real nice state-of-the-art facilities. Then you have a facility up in a little town, well, not a little town, but a town called McKinney. And that building is probably about 50 years old, and it looks all the 50 years old. And that's where you have mainly the black and Latino and poor white kids that go to this one. And you see the kids in there, and they try to be a little rowdy and everything. And I come in there, and I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Number one, male influence is huge. The coordinator who was over that class was a woman, but she would say, "Oh, baby, sit down." And I don't like women, especially calling 10 and 12-year-old babies, because when you call them babies, they don't tend to act like babies. But when they hit that base, they perk up. and they look up and they're like, oh, he means business. And when they got out of line, if I had to send them to the director, and I had no problem doing that. But making that example out of that one to say, hey, I'm not going to take your mess, and I know what's going on. You're the influence. You're trying to influence everyone else to act up. But it was this one Latino kid. He wanted, his name was, what was his name? I forgot what they called him. I was like, well,
Raul.
that's your nickname. Yeah, we'll call him Raul. Hey, Raul, I'm like, what's your real name? And he was like, Caesar. I was like, oh, so you're a king. And he was like, what? I was like, well, you didn't know Caesar meant king? And just to see, by saying that and to see his eyes perk up, he became one of the one that was being the most disruptive became the biggest helper out of all that. So it just showed me that he just needed some redirection and some attention in order to see that, hey, I can do better than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it takes time with kids, and you have to find what works for one kid isn't going to work for the next kid.
Right.
But you have to make it interesting and fun, and show them what real life is going to be on the outside. And with these kids and these parents too, man, everyone, I don't care if you grew up in a small city like Cincinnati, or you grow up in Dallas or New York City, you need to take a vacation that ain't over mama house or grandmama house or auntie house. Take a real vacation somewhere so you can have more of a perspective outside of where you grew up. Because I know folks who live in New York City who have probably never left their borough. And that's just like, and yes, there's a lot to do there, but there's so much more than, growing up in Brooklyn or the Bronx or growing up in Mississippi or Texas. So you have to expose children to the museums. You have to expose them to the arts. You have to expose them to a lot of different things because they're going to see something that they're going to gravitate to. And once they gravitate to them, it's up to us as parents in order to feed them, feed what they're doing.
Yeah.
So, that's how I wound up with a son on the varsity ice hockey team, who's the assistant captain. So the only black kid out there in the whole league, and he'd be whooping tail out there at 6'2", 175. So,
right.
Hey, if he plays at the college level, so be it. But guess what? His goal is to be in astrophysics, and that's what we're going to focus on. Hockey, if you play, good. But, yeah, let's get that education.
All right.
So,
Brent,
I'm back here to work.
Brent, I appreciate your call.
One more thing. You still have another homework I almost forgot about. Did you ever find out if you were a natural man or a juridical man? Did you find that out?
Hold on, I forgot about that. I couldn't remember the term. Hold on, I gotta write it down.
Yeah, and once you find that out, then have Ross call back in. I think I see him online, so then we can have this discussion further because I'm genuinely intrigued to see where the conversation is going. So it will go.
I forgot about that. If I was a natural man or a juridical man, I forgot about that, and I hope I'm saying it right. I'm not even sure. So
I think it's like juridical, like a jury, judicial, juridical. I think at least that's when I say it into the Google. That's what it types up for me. So
okay. I will check it out.
All right. Hey, you have a good one.
You do the same. Yes.
Bye.
I forgot about that. I mean, I remembered that I was supposed to be looking something up, and I was gonna ask him what I was supposed to be looking up, but y'all know, he'd be, that's homosexual to ask another man what you supposed to be looking up. And I'd be like, I don't know what the homosexual part of that was, but I didn't want to deal with that. So, but okay. All right. Thank you. Hold on. Let me go back here. But yeah, it all of that stuff is very important. Of course, different people, different. I was telling my wife this story the other day. This is like a 95% true story. I say 95%. Because I don't remember all the details. Okay? I don't remember all the details. So some of it I think I might be filling in a little bit, but 95% of it is true. When I went to Schwab, Because, you got back in the day, you took the Walnut Hills test. If you passed the Walnut Hills test, you had the option to go to Walnut Hills. Well, I told moms I'm not going to Walnut Hills. I was anti-Walnut Hills for a few reasons. It don't really matter. My brother went there. That was one of the reasons, and I did not want to follow him. So that was one of the reasons. I knew I was going on a different path. So I'm at Schwab, and I remember being in the advanced math classes, and they kicked me out of the advanced math classes mainly because I wouldn't do homework. I refused to do homework. My parents could whoop me as many times as they wanted to. I was not doing homework. And that's another thing people have to think about. Like, you can't always make a child do what you want them to do. You can't do it. I got whoopings. I got paddles. At school, I got paddled for it. At home, I got whooped for it. I got put on punishment. I got things taken away from me. My parents could have beat me all day, every day, starved me to death. I would have just died knowing I didn't cave in and do homework. Don't ask me why. I realize now it was foolish. But at the time, that was just my thing. When I go to school, okay, that's daytime. And teach me whatever you want to teach me, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to pay attention, and I'm going to learn. I was always one who could grasp concepts very well. So I'm going. But once I leave and go home, that's my time. I ain't doing no homework. So there was nothing that they could have done. I'm telling you, there was nothing that they could have done. Nothing to make me do homework. I should have put you in a headlock. He did at one point. Still didn't do no homework. I'm telling you, they could have beat me bloody. I was not doing homework. That's just the way it was going to be. All that to say, I got kicked out. Was Mr. Douglas, he was the assistant principal, I believe, when I was there. I don't remember who the principal was. I don't think Mr. Douglas was the principal. Mr. Douglas was there. I remember Miss Mack was also there. So maybe Mr. Douglas was the principal and Miss Mack was the assistant principal. I remember I got a swap from Mr. Douglas. But that's a whole different story. But yes, he was there. So they put me out of the AP, I think it was. It was either AP or AA. I don't remember which. They put me out of the advanced math and they put me into regular math. And oh my God, Greg, I don't know who you're talking to, but there is no way that I can read all of that. I hope that wasn't meant for me to read. Oh my God, and it's not what you see on the screen. It's not done. I can't read all of that. But anyway, so they put me out. So now I'm sitting in an algebra class, I believe it was, learning concepts that I had already learned. I already knew all of this stuff. So I'm sitting in the class and we were doing equations with an unknown. And I don't remember if they were quadratic equations or I don't remember. But I remember they were equations with an unknown. I'm going somewhere with the story. Stick with me. And the teacher, the way the teacher was explaining it initially, and remember, I had already learned this stuff, mastered the concept. I knew it. I knew this stuff. But the way that the teacher was explaining it, I was so confused. Like, you look at an equation and they're like, okay, I'm going to just come up with something super simple. Okay, let x equal 4. So x plus 2 equals what? Right? That seems simple. If x is 4, 4 plus 2 equals 6, right? Seems simple. But the way the teacher was explaining it was, and I don't even know if the way I explain it would do it justice, because you'll understand it because you're an adult. And hopefully you can do math. The teacher was not saying, okay, let x equal 4. The teacher was saying, let x equals 4. So what then is x plus 2? And everybody in the class was like, but how do we know what let X is? And she's like, well, they're telling you what let X is. Let X is 4. And it's like, okay, but how do that help us put X in there? So instead of explaining to them that, no, they're saying let X, X being the unknown 4, everybody was confused about what is let X? What is let X? And the way that she was explaining it, again, I understood it. It made perfect sense to me. But for a minute, I was like, what the F is let X? What is let X? And how do that help them with this equation? And then she wrote it out, and I was like, oh, they're saying let X equal 4. And I'm like, she's just explaining it wrong. She's just explaining it wrong. It's going to be hard for people who don't understand the concept to get it if you just explaining it wrong. And so, of course, me being me, and I was not a big time question asker in school. I was one of those kids, and I don't know where it came from. I was one of those kids who, you explain a concept to me, I typically grasp it. Like, you explain it to me once. Hold on, let me make sure. Yes. Bam. Like, yeah, that's it. Okay, cool. I got it. That's all I needed. But excuse me, when you're saying let X, don't that just mean, hey, everybody, let X equal 4. So take off the let, X equals 4. And she was like, well, I guess that's one way to say it. And I'm like, that's the way they mean it. In my mind, I didn't say this part out loud. You confusing the F out of these kids who don't understand. And so I spent that entire class, the remainder of that school year, not doing homework, and asking questions to clarify. And I would understand that there were even after I've asked clarifying questions. Now half the class get it, but there was another half of the class who still didn't get it because of the way that even I explained it. And again, I know I'm not a teacher. I couldn't be a teacher. I explain things horribly. I might understand them, but I explain them horribly. But even you leaving? You know what gotta happen before you leave. Get over here. That was a good one right there. Have a good day. But yeah, so to explain it in a way that the other kids got it, and just when half the class said they got it, it was time to move on. It was time to move on. And I would try to ask questions to try to help the other ones get it. Try to help the other ones get it. So sometimes in school, I mean, I don't know if they got like this is how long you have to teach this concept. And the people who don't get it, that's just on them. They got to figure it out. But in my mind, if you're in school, you're a teacher, ain't that why they break people up into different levels? And I'm like, the kids who got I'm rambling a little bit, I know. But I don't know that the school system as we know it is really set up for all of the kids. I don't know if that means they need more money or need better teachers or more teachers. I know those kids probably could not have grasped the concepts as fast as they were going in AA and AP and all of that stuff. They couldn't have got that. But then the kids who got it at that speed should have been in a different class than the kids who couldn't get it either at that speed or in that way. Because from my perspective, that was before people realized that people learn different ways. Like, you got all of these, this is and I still don't thoroughly understand what all of this stuff means. You got Montessori learning, and you got this learning, and Montessori is the only one that I remember. But you got all of these different ways of learning, and you can go to this school and you learn that way. They wasn't doing that, to my knowledge. They wasn't doing that when I was coming up. Just everybody, this is math. And it wasn't like, oh, well, I learned better hands-on. No, I learned better if it's explained. I learned better with examples. None of that was there. It was, we going to tell you the concept. You either going to get it or you ain't, and we going to move on. And I wonder if some of that is still happening when you get them 5-year-olds in school. Because I still think it all go back to that. When you get them 5-year-olds in school who are a blank slate, they have learned nothing. And now you like sing the ABCs and they just sitting there, watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. You know how you do. If you just say watermelon, that's the concept. If you in a choir and you just say watermelon, it looked like you saying whatever everybody else is saying, but you just repeat watermelon. If y'all didn't know that, that is a thing. That is a thing. And so they just sitting there saying watermelon, and it looked like they saying A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so you're like, all right, everybody get it. And then, you know, you move on. You take the test and they didn't get it, and now you mad at them. Oh, it's juicy watermelon. My bad, Regina. I've never had to do that because I remember the words. So don't be mad at me because I don't thoroughly know the little line trick that apparently you, Regina, use all the time. No, I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you, Regina. Regina gonna be mad. No, he's saying that I just say juicy watermelon, but I'm not the one who just say that. I'm just teasing. It's all right. Don't be mad at me. But yeah, no. I think even at that age, you gotta break things up. And it's not always a learning disability. It's not always a learning disability. Will says, man, listen, the whole Montessori thing blows my mind. My kid isn't assigned homework. They do classwork in bean bags, and they call the teachers by their first names. I'm appalled, but her grades drastically improved. And that's the stuff like that exists. It didn't exist for us, or at least for me. It didn't exist, but now it exists. The question from me is, if I'm a parent, because again, some of this stuff go back to being a parent. If I'm a parent and my child is in school and my child is severely underachieving, I'm at the school like, what can we do? My child clearly ain't getting this information. And next thing you know, my kid is sitting in a beanbag, not getting no homework, calling the teacher by the first name and getting amazing grades. Because as a parent, I was involved. But we can't just say, so I blame the parents. Because again, some parents are not going to be involved. It's sad, it's tragic, but it's true. And as the adults of the society, we got to find a way to cover the kids in spite of their terrible parents. Because it's not, in spite of what some of y'all want to say, it's not their fault that they have bad parents. So we got to figure out a way to cover those kids. And I think that's where teachers and counselors and all of that stuff come in. That's where they come in. If you see a kid and they're falling behind, you kind of got to be paying attention as a teacher or as a counselor. I'll be honest, I don't know what school counselors do. I think all my however many years of school, because I don't remember if I did preschool. I'm certain I did preschool. So all of my, 14 years of school, from high school on down, I think about 14. I met with my counselor maybe 3 times. And I'm not exaggerating. Maybe 3 times. It's like, Emanuel, you exaggerating. I remember meeting with him I might be exaggerating. I think 5, maybe 6. Because I remember meeting with a counselor going from the 6th to the 7th grade to pick classes. I don't remember 7th to 8th. But I remember meeting with a counselor to go from the 8th to the 9th to pick classes for high school. I remember meeting with a counselor once as I was getting ready to hit my senior year. And I remember meeting with a counselor once, basically to tell me how disappointed they were with my class rank. Basically because I didn't do homework. So where I would have normally gotten an A, I got a whole lot of C's. Because, homework was 25% of your grade. And so if you don't do homework, even if you get 100% on everything else, you still only got 75%, which is a C, which is where I fail most of the time. Why did you keep getting paddled, though? I kept getting paddled for multiple reasons, mainly because I believe Mr. Mitchell was a racist hater. Okay? Sometimes I would get paddled for not doing homework. I didn't even get mad about those because he warned us at the beginning of the year that sometimes he pick up homework with a paddle. That was the way he called it. I pick up homework with a paddle, which means if you didn't do your homework, you got a swat. When he said that, I said, well, I'm going to be getting some swats. I didn't say that out loud. That was what I thought. I'm going to be getting some swats. Let me get ready for it. But then I think once he figured out the swats don't make him do homework, he's just being obstinate. I'm going to break him from being obstinate. He found an excuse, sometimes ridiculous excuses, to give me a swat. I got swats because he didn't like the look on my face. And I'm not exaggerating. I would be sitting there. He would be teaching. He was science. I don't remember exactly what he was teaching, but I think he was science teacher. And he's giving his lecture. I'm just sitting there listening to the lecture. He looks at me and he says, wipe that look off your face. I'm like, this is just my face. Like, there's no look. I don't even understand what you're talking about. There's no look. This is just my face. But he picks up his paddle. Let's go. What am I getting a swat for? I'm getting a swat because this is my face. Like, you're literally swatting me because this is my face. I wasn't sleepy. I wasn't laughing. I wasn't talking to nobody. I was just sitting there listening to his lecture. Wipe that look off your face. What look? This is just my face. And I got a swat. I'm telling you, almost every single day, he found an excuse to give me a swat. Almost every single day. And I did tell somebody at Lincoln I did tell my parents. But my parents was like those parents who, and I decided I would never be that parent. My parents was those, if an adult said it, the adult is right. And so they never followed through. And I would tell them like, I got a swat. And they would be like, well, what you get a swat for today? And I'd be like, because he said he didn't like the look on my face. You was probably looking at him. No, I wasn't looking at him funny. He wouldn't just say that you was looking at him funny if you wasn't looking at him funny. Yeah, he would. And I would always I'm gonna be honest, I kind of resented my parents for that. Like, maybe just take what I'm saying seriously once and follow up on it. Because then maybe if he know my parents is going to follow up on it, I won't get a swat. He'll think twice about swatting me. But they never followed up on it because they was one of those, adults ain't going to lie on kids. Adults ain't going to go out of their way to harm kids and so on and so forth. So you must be doing something. So, no, that's all true. That's all true. Hold on, let me grab the line. CK.
Mr. Livingston, what's going on, bro?
How you doing, sir?
Oh, man, that was disturbing, man.
It was
You
disturbing.
talking about this dude abusing you, man.
He was.
Good God.
He went out of
man,
his
what
way
the
to
hell?
physically assault me every day, and it was okay because he worked at a school and was the teacher in one of my classes. That's really what it all boiled down to. Like, if I work at the school and I'm a teacher, I can physically assault kids that I don't like for whatever reason. And he could, because he knew that everybody would be okay with it.
Yeah, he getting off on abuse. That's like an abuser. He getting off on it. You know what I mean? That's just like you have a bad day at work and you go beat your wife. So he have a bad day at home. He had his wife on getting on his nerve. He take it out on you.
Hey, all I know is this.
It's reverse.
All I know is this. He was an old man when I was a kid. So he's probably dead now. But if he wasn't dead and I ran into him and he was 105 years old, I still slap the fuck out of him. That's how I feel about it.
You talking about this really has some scars on your
psychological. Yes.
Damn.
I would see his old A in a wheelchair, and they would be like, "This is Mr. Mitchell from Schwab." And I would look at him like he's still wearing them same glasses. And I would just smack him. I would go to jail. I would be okay with it. Oh, that's elder abuse. I'd be like, well, he abused me as a kid, so turnabout is fair play. I will smack the shit out that man to this day. But I'm certain he's dead. And I'm not sad about it.
Yeah. But I understand because, like you said, you know it was you, so you the victim, so you know if you was doing wrong. You like, I'm just sitting here. He talking about the look on my, like you said, this is my face. I ain't did nothing. You just beating on me. I got to agree with you on that, man.
But I only got one swat for that. I only got one swat. Sometimes it was 2. I think a couple times it was 4. But for that, I only got one swat.
Yeah. And then what you were saying about Rise Freeman, I thought you was exaggerating. So when you was like, you said, yeah, all kids are born innately, with the power to learn and be smart. I was like, yeah, look at Doogie Howser. The first thing he said was some homosexual stuff. I was like, damn, 1 for 1, 100%. You batting 1,000? I was like, you gonna prove him right after he said it? I thought you was exaggerating, bro.
No.
He really liked that.
Yeah.
Damn. Because you said the hat on my, I said, man, he taking it. I said, he can't do that to your sweater, all power. I said, I take that back. He'd take that all the way. He'd take that all power, boy, flip that all the way around.
Yes, he will.
I'm like, but I wanted to holler at you about these, the dumb kids of America, man. Like I told you, I was 3 years old, sitting on Uncle Al's lap. This man say, what you want to be when you grow up? I said, 7 years old. The whole room bust out laughing. You know what I mean? It's like I cursed myself at 3. Like, your educational level never went. Forget smarter than the 5th grader. Are you smarter than the 7-year-old? So that's the education level. Like, I'm going back and forth with Greg on there. I'm like, man, what do I need to learn how to read for? You know what I mean? You got audio books. You got voice to text.
Oh my
you know
God.
what I mean? I'm sitting here listening to your show. I'm getting all the information. You know what I mean? But this is how, it's like a, what is it? What is it? Is it a handicap, mentally handicapped?
I don't know if people use that terminology, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at Herschel White, do you think he was a dumb kid, or do you think he developed into a dumb adult? Do you think stupid kids turn into stupid adults, or do you think they start off smart and then go dumb?
No, I think typically stupid kids turn into, not all stupid kids, but typically stupid kids turn into stupid adults. I don't know that, I mean, unless like, he was like on drugs or something like that. I hear that could mess up your mind. But yeah, typically it's the stupid kids turn into stupid adults.
Because a lot of successful people, they be like, man, I was a dumb kid. And then, I turned it around. So I'm trying to figure it out. It's like something happened and they finally realized how stupid they was. You know what I mean? It's like something
and no, here's what I'm saying. I don't think all quote dumb kids turn into dumb adults. Like you can be, and I hate using this terminology, but I'm only using it because you used it. So I think you can be a dumb kid. Okay. And then you can learn and then not be dumb. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see that a lot in reverse. Like, man, that child is brilliant, but then he grow up and it's like, what happened? He's really dumb now. Like he might make dumb decisions or, bad decisions and things of that nature, but it's typically not, the lack of ability to critically think. I guess if you're making bad decisions, maybe there is something about I think that's more about what you value as opposed to your ability to think about it and understand consequences. So,
Right.
but I don't know that it works in reverse, but it might. It might.
But you have to feel the fire to know the consequences. Like,
No,
um,
no, you
you
don't.
say you don't have to feel. You don't have to put your hand on the thing to know it burns.
No. Maybe some people do, because everybody's different. So maybe some people do, but a lot of people can look at other people's results or just reason like, ooh, fire, hot. I'm not going to touch fire. Where I guess some other kids is like, well, they say fire is hot, but I need to touch it before I realize it. But I find that a lot of people don't need to do that. They can look at like, oh, he touched that fire. His hand is messed up. I'm not touching that fire.
Mm-hmm.
That fire is hot. Whereas, some people might not be that way.
Yeah, that's because I was trying to get through to you with the Brittany Griner situation where you have to don't get so enabled with the celebrity and look at, no, this is a lesson to be learned. If you go to Russia, don't take no vape pen because you too could get 10 years. Don't look at it like it's just all, no, don't just think, but the only difference between you and Brittany, ain't nobody going to give a damn. Nobody going to know you in there for 10 years for a vape pen. See, her celebrity was lucky enough to get a blockbuster trade to get her out of there. But I'm saying an average American citizen that get caught with a vape pen, they could be just rotting away with 10 years and there's nobody fighting. That's the thing you gotta you gotta learn from this celebrity situation.
All right.
You know what I mean? And,
I guess I agree with you. If you go overseas, do your best to know what you can and cannot do, and don't do the things that you're not allowed to do, even if you don't agree with those as laws.
Yeah, because I went to the Dominican Republic last month, Emmanuel.
Oh, did you? You didn't share that.
There.
You
Man,
took hold
on.
on. You took that girl that you took to Red Lobster. You done stepped it up and took her to the Dominican Republic.
Oh no. I wasn't balling like that. I went over there. It was a family affair.
Oh.
And I didn't do it that good. But as far as the laws, it's like the traffic. You would be scared to drive over there because it's just like the people control the traffic. It's not like the lights and all that. It's like a light every 5 miles, every 6 miles. Everybody's fight. You got to go with the groove. You know what I mean? And then the culture is exactly opposite of America. Like the women are after you over there, so they the aggressor. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I don't know
you know how men naturally go after women in America, like try to holler at them. Over there, they at you like you are the prize.
Well,
see, over here the culture is different.
Well, I don't know if the culture is different over there. I think, that the Dominican Republic is not the richest country in the world. So, maybe people view you as an American as, this might be my ticket out. So yeah, they targeting you, but the regular Dominican brothers, they got the chase.
No.
Yeah.
What? Oh, you saying they fooled me? You right. I didn't look at it like that. You said I'm just a lick coming to town.
Yeah. If I could get him and end up, I don't know, maybe getting to marry me, maybe get a baby, then, hey, I can get on. I could be an American. I could be over there walking on those streets paved with gold.
Man, you got to go over there, man. It's nice. It's like the fresh food, the people. They don't have the violence like we got over here. The violence is really subtle compared to America. It's like the people are real nice.
Again, You was over there. I'm a guess you were at a resort of some sort.
Yeah. It was like Scarface house, man. It was built. It was a 7-bedroom mansion.
But yeah,
It was like,
they gonna treat the people at the resort nice. Like they not gonna treat the people at the resort like they treat your regular everyday Dominican people. They not. Why you think people flee in the Dominican Republic to come here? It ain't
oh,
because it's so nice. You was at a
yeah,
resort, bro.
yeah. Damn. So, oh man. So you said, oh, I'm thinking this. So yeah, I was getting treated like a guest,
Yes.
and they hustle game is ridiculous. They they got the bikes, the most. I
Yeah,
went ATV rolling. You have been on them ATVs
I
yet?
have.
That's fun, ain't it?
Rolled through the mud.
Hey, muddy. Them shoes. Did you get them shoes back clean, or they still muddy?
No, I was wearing what, beach shoes or whatever they are. You know, the little elastic shoes with the rubber soles. So yeah, I
Yep.
just got in the water and went swimming. The mud came right on off.
But man, that's good living, man. So hey, it's good. So you got your passport and everything. You good to go.
Yeah.
Look at God. Look at God.
Yeah,
Man.
Mrs.
Hey,
Livingston,
man.
one of her things is she's a travel agent. So yeah, we travel.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Y'all got to keep living good, man. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on the dumb kids of America, man. 'Cause
All right.
don't give up on every dumb kid. I'm not gonna stay dumb. Some of them gonna get rich. Some of them
I
gonna
agree.
fail.
Yes.
But much love to your show. Keep up hope.
All right. Thank you, CK.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate your call. That's CK. He didn't know. He didn't know. he didn't know. He thought there's nothing wrong. CK, there is nothing wrong with that misconception. You go a place and the women is approaching you and everybody treating you nice. You don't think about the fact that you staying at a resort and that's just good customer service. You're like, man, they so friendly over here in the Dominican Republic. Ain't nobody tried to kill me. And that is one of the things that I look for in a vacation. You know what I'm saying? They didn't try to kill me. If nobody tried to kill me, that's a good vacation every day of the week. That's a good vacation every day of the week. That's the minimum. That's a good baseline right there. It can only go up. If I'm at the resort and they pulling guns on me and stuff, this is not a good vacation. So that was a good assessment. That was a good assessment. He said, hey, real nice. They ain't violent or nothing. Oh, there is nothing wrong with that, CK. That's a good assessment. That's a good assessment. Oh boy. You gotta love CK. I don't know why that's so funny to me. That shouldn't be that funny to me. Something is wrong with me. I told you I got a condition. And there's something wrong with me. It shouldn't be that funny that he was shocked that at the resort they wasn't trying to kill him. Woo. Whew. I went on a cruise on Carnival once. I've only, I think, been on one. And I've been on 2 Carnival cruises. I don't particularly care for Carnival. But what I can tell you is when I was on the ship, nobody tried to kill me. That's the beginnings of a good vacation. Oh boy. You gotta love CK. Okay. Let me see. I think R Wash. He's my personal hater. He called me stupid. Hold on, let me see. Y'all know I gotta address. I love the bad comments. Where is it? He says, someone who would risk getting beat bloody instead of doing homework, does that qualify as stupid? Yeah, it does. I'm an adult now. I realize that was stupid. Foolish. Yeah. So yeah, what? If I do something stupid, if y'all don't know this about me by now, something wrong with y'all. I do a pretty decent job at looking at me and assessing, my strengths and my weaknesses. And if I do something stupid, I don't have a problem saying, that was stupid. That was stupid. Didn't change that that's what was happening at the time. But yes, that was stupid. Excuse me. Let me see. Hold on, I'm scrolling. He says, so Lincoln wasn't lying about you. I'm not sure what you mean. What did he say? Because Lincoln be lying about me. He be lying about me. But I'm not sure what he said, so I can't say. Tell me what he said, and then I'll tell you if that was a lie. Tell me what he said, and then I'll tell you if that was a lie. I think Anthony said Wyatt is not doing his show today, which I kind of figured he wouldn't. I'm assuming he said why. Because Alethea wants to know why not. It's not his birthday anymore. Well, yeah, but there's another reason that I'm wholeheartedly for. But if he don't tell you, I'm not gonna tell you. If he don't tell you, I'm not gonna tell you. Ben says he called you stupid. I've been stupid about things. Am I stupid? No. Have I done things that a stupid person would do? Yes. Yes. Okay, yes. Yes. And congratulations because of it. Or happy birthday. I don't know. What do you say when it's somebody else's loved one's birthday? What they're celebrating. Congratulations, happy birthday, whatever. Yeah. Let me think. There was something else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, I didn't, Arwash says, I never called you stupid. I didn't say you did. You asked a question and I answered your question. He said, Lincoln called me stupid. That was what he said. So relax. I'm not the hater. You are. Relax. It's okay. Let's see. TJ Holmes. I just wanted to touch this for a second. And I don't really get too much into this stuff. TJ Holmes, who's I guess on Good Morning America, which I don't watch. Or Good Morning America 3. Either way. Apparently he and who's this other lady? Amy Robach. I guess they was having an affair or something. And they kind of got put out there that they were having an affair and they pulled them off the air. And people were mad. And I think I heard somebody say that they let her back on the air, but they kept him off the air or whatever. Again, I'm not 100% sure. But I don't care. I don't care about TJ Holmes and Amy Robach. I don't care about them pulling him off the air. Here's where I am with it. You should honor your relationships and your commitments. Men should, women should, black people should, white people should, Asians should, everybody should honor your commitment. If you married, don't be sleeping around. Don't cheat. You should honor that. You made that commitment. If you want out, get out. It's 2022. You can file for a divorce. You can get out. If you don't want to get out, honor what's going on. And if you don't honor what's happening, your relationship, if you don't honor it and you get caught not honoring it, whatever happens, happens. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, but they're treating him different because he's black, and they didn't do that to Joe and Mika, and they didn't do that to the chick on the dude on Channel 5 and the big head lady on Channel 5. So what? So he more reason for you to honor that commitment, brother. More reason for you to honor that commitment. And there's a really good chance that that commitment was to a sister. Or you're just going to throw your commitment to that sister away for that white woman. You didn't respect the sister. I don't respect you. Whatever happens to you happens to you. Same with her. I don't care what happened to her. I don't care what happened to her from that. Like, I don't want either one of them to be dead or anything like that. Unless, well, I don't want them to be dead either way. But, you know, okay, if you get caught in the act with somebody's spouse and they kill you, you kind of brought that on yourself. I mean, you like to think that people would just be able to walk away, but if they can't, and you know, get taken out because you was doing something with somebody else's spouse, shouldn't have been doing it. I don't feel a whole lot of sympathy for you. But in terms of this and what I don't care. Shouldn't have been cheating. If he was cheating. You see, I can't believe that after all we saw how much money Matt Lauer effed up, people are still having affairs at work. Again, if you look, if they were both single, not attached to anybody else, they grown, you know, they responsible for their own moral compass and all that kind of stuff. Do what you gonna do. It's not necessarily the wisest thing to do to involve yourself in a sexual relationship with a coworker. It's not the wisest thing to do, but yeah, if it's consensual, you're adults, go for it. Somebody says, Brenda says, TJ had other affairs within ABC. All right. He's wrong. If he's married, which, you know, I heard he was married. Somebody say he was separated. Okay, that's a gray area there. But yeah, I don't care. That's really it. That's all about that. I don't have a whole lot else to say about that. I don't care. Kanye West. Some of this stuff is not, maybe it is. Now, what the latest thing is, he says Rosa Parks was a plant. He don't like Barack Obama. He not particularly fond of MLK. And he says Rosa Parks was a plant. Since 1948, all these movements. I know woke's going to be mad at me, but all these heroes, man, it's only one. That's Jesus Christ. You're going to find out something about MLK, something about JFK, something about Malcolm, Rosa Parks. We all know Rosa Parks was a plant. And people mad at him. I'm mad at him for the spirit in which he's saying it. I'm mad at him for the spirit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You kicking it with white supremacists and all that kind of stuff. You know they would love to take you out, but they'll use you. I think this is what a lot of people don't get. Y'all gonna be a white supremacist if they hanging out with Kanye West. They will use you. I don't mean they like you, they respect you, or they want you to continue to breathe, except for to be used by them. Why can't some people figure that out? A white supremacist will not kill you if he sees value in using you. You know, if that's the mentality that he has. So from the spirit in which he's saying it, like if you say to me, look, Emanuel, you do realize that that wasn't just organic. The whole Rosa Parks not giving up her seat on the bus thing, that wasn't just organic. Like, that was planned. There was a reason why they chose her, the color of her skin and all of that kind of stuff. She wasn't the first person to ever refuse to give up her seat or to be arrested for it. That was all planned out. I'm like, yes, strategic. I understand that. Janice wants to know, is this the Tuesday 12:13 show? As far as I know. Did I put something else up there on the title? Tuesday, December 13th? Yes, this is. So I understand that. Strategic, and, it made sense to move forward what they were attempting to move forward. Janice says, it says 12/8. Well, not on my screen, it doesn't say 12/8. In my description, it says Tuesday, December 13th. So if it says 12/8, then there's some issue with Restream. That's not my fault. But the spirit in which he's saying, she was a plant. Like, he's not saying it to say it's strategic. He's saying it to say it was like fraudulent. That's what he's saying it to say. It was fraudulent. I don't like that. So I guess that's one of those things of, because people say that to me all the time. It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. I say a lot of that is up to interpretation. And this is as well. But when you look at it and you take into account everything surrounding it, the things that Kanye West has been saying, who Kanye West is hanging out with recently, and the things that's going on with him, he's not saying it to give clarity to the fact that in order to advance the movement, they needed someone who could garner the sympathies of certain people. Like, she had to be squeaky clean. She had to be spotless. And it helped that she was lighter skinned. That was helpful. Because y'all know colorism exists within the black community and without or outside. So they could look at a dark-skinned black woman and be like, that black me. People do that. That's still a thing. So it was definitely a thing back then. But then you get this lighter-skinned woman, and it's like, she's pretty light. From next look, hold on, you sure she's black? She'll get more sympathy. That's just the truth. But that's not what Kanye was saying. And for that reason, I don't support that. And I don't know what, because people are like, well, he got some mental issues. But I don't think Kanye West is stupid. I believe it's possible he has some mental issues. I don't know that he's stupid. This is a question. Is there a mental disorder that makes you vulnerable to be manipulated? Because if that's the case, then, you could say, okay, he's being manipulated. But I don't know that that's the case. And I can't really put my finger on it. I don't want to just say Kanye West don't like black people. And I don't want to say this is some sort of a publicity stunt. But it's something. It's something going on. Like, a normal, reasonable, rational black man, intelligent, ain't gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna kick it with this white supremacist and then start saying bad stuff about Jewish people and black people to impress people. That's not normal. So I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what it is that is going on with him, but I can tell you stuff he's doing ain't normal, and I don't support it. So again, while I understand that there's some truth to what he's saying, the spirit in which he said it is not to, bring out the truth of it. It's to diminish it. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Ross Freeman says, all the hateful stuff you say to me, are you worried about Kanye? I don't say anything hateful to you. What have I ever said hateful to you? I don't hate you. Valerie says, stop that hating stuff. Valerie, what am I saying? What are y'all hearing? Is there a translator on here that when I say stuff, like certain people hear other stuff? What am I saying? Tell me, please, what am I saying that's hating? What did I say that any reasonable or rational person could look at, listen to, and say, yeah, that's hate? What? Valerie, I don't believe this is Valerie. I don't even know who Valerie is. I don't believe that this is a Valerie. Valerie, what? What? Valerie, call me. 717-5464. Now, I just told y'all, if you could point out to me what I said that's hateful or even hypocritical, I'll say, yeah, that was hateful. Yeah, that was hypocritical. But you can't. Because it's not. It's just the truth. Ross Freeman, do you have a second account and you're calling yourself Valerie? Is that what's happening? I don't know, because it don't seem reasonable. It don't seem reasonable. Who is Valerie? Myosha says, you hated on me when I said I wanted a G-Wagon. Asking what a G-Wagon is not hate. I didn't know what it was. How could I hate on you for wanting something that I don't even know what it is? First, I had to understand what it was. And then I had to just realize, oh, you're rich. It's not hate to say that a rich person is rich. Maybe y'all don't know what hate is. It's not hate to say that a rich person is rich. Valerie says, last week, Dion, it's not how you spell his name, but I know what you mean. This week, Kanye, again, this week. I think I know what you meant. Last week, Dion, this week, Kanye. It was just a little redundancy in there. But I think I got what you're saying. And again, you still can't tell me what I said that was hateful about Deion Sanders. People keep posting that on my posts. Like, why are you hating? And I just have one question for them. And my question for them is, what did I say that is hateful? Was it the part where I said, I support the brother? Was it the part where I said, I hope he's very successful? Was it the part that I said, I hope he wins a national title? Was that the hateful part? Oh, you're saying the hateful part is when I said you shouldn't tell people to do one thing and then you do another. That's hypocritical. That's not hate. That's an honest assessment. You might not agree with it, but an honest assessment is not hate. It's not. So, but Valerie, 513-717-5464. I got a feeling that Valerie is Ross Freeman. I'm telling you, I think Valerie is Ross Freeman. What is wrong with these people making up fake profiles? I could be wrong. I know I'm not wrong because it is what I think. Now, what I think could be wrong, but I'm not wrong in saying that that is what I think. I think Valerie is Ross Freeman. Oh, I'm not Ross. Of course, that's what Ross Freeman would say if he made a fake profile. Of course, that's what he would say. What? I'm not that stupid. Call in. Call in. Call in, Valerie. I'll believe you if you call in and you actually sound like a woman. I'll believe you. So even if Ross Freeman is Valerie and you get a female friend of yours to call in and say, this is Valerie, I'll believe it. Valerie, call in. Call in. Brent says, Valerie Davis is not Ross Freeman, just like Emanuel Livingston are not Dave Stinger. Hey, I'm going to have Dave Stinger call in one day, and we're going to both be on the line at the same time, and then y'all see. Valerie says, I'm in jail. What does that mean? What does that mean you in jail? You're not in Facebook jail. And if you're in actual jail, but you still have access to a computer or a phone to be on Facebook Live, then you could call 513-717-5464. If you're in Facebook jail, which you're clearly not because you're posting on Facebook, you could call 513-717-5464. I'm in jail is no excuse for you not being able to call. I'll accept the charges. I'll accept the charges. Come on, Valerie. Come on, Valerie. Or Ross. Oh, burner page, you idiot. But you still there. That means you can see it. That means you can call. How does you being in Facebook jail using a burner page stop you from calling 717-5464? How? I don't understand. How does it stop you? 513-717-5464. I'm going to give you a few minutes to call in. Ross Freeman, potentially talking to himself, says, call homolicious and keep it real. See, CK? How is any of this homo anything? He can't help himself. Now he's talking to himself. He says, don't let him intimidate you. What's intimidating about asking somebody to call? I'm not attempting to intimidate. I just want to verify. Ross Freeman, I know you got some female friends that you can get to call in. Just have one of them call in and say, this is Valerie. And I'll be like, okay. Maybe Valerie is one of my new Black Planet friends. Just tell me, what did I say about Kanye that's hate? I don't like what he's doing. He's the one kicking it with white supremacists. I'm not making that up. That's true, verifiable fact. I'm not making that up at all. Myosha wants to know, is Black Planet still a thing? Sure, I just signed up for a Black Planet page. Yeah. I signed up for a Black Planet page. What was that? Thursday? Live on the stream. You missed it. Valerie says, I'm scared of plumbers. You spell plumber wrong. I'm not a person. In my mind, a plumber, even that ain't right. But a plumber, spelled that way, is a person, I don't know what's an expert on plums. I'm not that. So you don't have to be worried about that. I'm not an expert on plums. How you spell plum? Yeah, I'm not an expert on plums. So you don't have to be afraid of me. Not even a little bit. All right, y'all. Let me get ready to get out of here. I'm sorry, I can't wait for you, Valerie, no more, or Ross Freeman. Hold on. Ross Freeman says, now you know I can spell plumber. But you trying to trick me into believing that that's not you, so you would spell it wrong just to be able to come back and say I can spell it right. I know how them tricks work. I don't know. I don't know, TC. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Mayosha wants somebody to give her a dinner idea. Baked chicken and brown rice. Baked chicken and brown rice. Little broccoli on the side. All right. There you go. I got to get out of here. Look, again, I won't be here tomorrow. I won't be here Thursday. I'll be with the kids, donating my services. All right. Enjoy yourself. I might see you on Wednesday. I'll post and let you know if Friday. I'll post and let you know if Friday is going to happen. Enjoy yourself. Have a wonderful week. I hope something amazing happens in your life today. All right. I know this trick. Trying to keep me on. But I'll take the call.
All right.
Welcome to the afternoon experiment.
Yeah, this is Valerie.
This is who?
This is Valerie. You thought it was Ross. This ain't no Ross, man.
Oh, so this is Valerie. Valerie? Hello?
Oh, so this is Valerie.
Yeah, I'm just calling to let you know I'm a man, a black man, just like you.
Valerie.
All right.
Yeah, I got a bunga page.
Well, hold on. Do me a favor. Can you turn down the show in the background?
All right.
I ain't even got it turned up.
Well, hold on.
I can hear it.
Can you turn down the show in the background?
Can you?
Is this better? This better?
I guess. Now, can you tell me? Can you tell me what did I say? What did I say? The hate on First Kanye.
Stop just hating on Dion. Stop hating on Kanye. Let them be who they is, man. Like you be who you is.
What?
Let them be who they is.
I can't. I'm having a hard time
You be saying some hypocritical shit, man. That's all I'm saying.
Like what? Give me an example.
I ain't about to play with you, man. You my guy. I like you and everything, but you be saying some bullshit sometimes.
Like what?
That's
Give
all
me
I'm saying.
just one example.
If Pops had to put you in the head like that, ain't do no good. I know I can't do no good.
But you can reason with me, and if I'm being hypocritical, then I'll admit that and try to change.
But you would never admit nothing like that.
Yes,
That's
I
not
would.
in your nature.
Yes, I would.
That's not in your nature.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not.
Try me. Just tell me something that I said.
It's so much, man. I can't even remember. You be having me days sometimes.
All right, what did I say bad about Deion Sanders?
You saying he shouldn't have left Jackson State. He turned his back on the kids.
I did not say. No, hold on. Stop. I never said any of that. I never.
Didn't you say he was leaving a lot of people behind? You never said that?
No.
Okay, I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
No. Here's what I said. If he was telling those kids not to go to white colleges, to bypass that opportunity for the opportunity to go to a HBCU and make that system better, And then when a white college came to him, he left the HBCU and didn't stay there to make that system better. Then he was being a hypocrite. That's
Yeah, I
it.
don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I see it like wherever Deion go, it don't matter if he with a HBC, wherever you saying school, a big school, little school, he gonna make it shine regardless.
No, that's fine. I'm not even debating that. What I'm saying, okay, I want you to understand this. If I tell you, don't go work for a white company, even if they gonna give you more money, don't do that. Go work for a black company to make a black company better. And then you take my advice, but then that same white company come and offer me a job and I leave to go work for the white company to make more money. Wasn't I a hypocrite?
In a sense, but it's too different. It's different though.
It's not. It's the
Deion,
exact same.
yes, it is. It's not the same, man.
What's the difference?
If I'm a kid, if I'm just a kid and I'm trying to go to school to make myself better, whatever I'm trying to do, that's cool. But Deion, a millionaire, even if he didn't even take them jobs, he's still a millionaire, so it didn't make no difference regardless of what school he was in.
Which makes him even a worse hypocrite because he's not doing it to get out of a bad financial situation. He's just doing it to be doing it. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it is definitely hypocritical to tell one person don't go in that situation who's been offered the opportunity to go to that situation. But then as soon as they offer you the opportunity to go to that situation, you take it. That's hypocritical. It ain't wrong. It ain't evil. It don't make him a horrible dude. He ain't necessarily going to hell. Not for that. But that is being a hypocrite.
Okay. That's okay. We'll agree this week.
All right.
I'm just trying to let you know I'm Valerie. All right, man. Peace.
All right, Valerie. All right. That was Valerie. Ross Freeman, there you go. If you were right, you are not Valerie. Now, maybe you and Valerie can get together. Ross Freeman say Valerie been flirting with him. So maybe you and Valerie can get together and, fulfill that kind of homoerotic appetite that you seem to have. But yeah, no, all that stuff that he said, that I said about Deion, I didn't say. Actually, I disagree with people who called him a sellout and, he left these people behind and blah, blah, blah. I disagree with that. As a matter of fact, I think he's taken too many people with him. So, no. I never said those things. And that's what I be wondering, like, how do y'all hear the stuff that I say? I try to be like really clear about. I really do. I try to be really clear about it. But I'm convinced what the FBI must be doing something because I say stuff. I support that brother. I want to see him win a national title. He got a right to do whatever he want to do. I'm not mad at him for leaving. The only thing is, I think that it's hypocritical to tell people not to do it when you end up doing it. And you hear me say that and you get, he leaving them kids behind. He a sellout and he shouldn't be leaving. He should stay. And like, where do you, how does one translate into the other? I don't understand. I don't, but Valerie need her thyroid checked. Valerie got some issues. Angela says that doesn't necessarily make him a hypocrite. People have a right to change their minds, especially if they get robbed. I don't know. I think it does make him a hypocrite. But again, that's just my honest assessment of it. It's hypocritical. And again, I use me. That's why I keep telling y'all, I don't have a problem admitting certain stuff. I use me. If Raven came to me when she was thinking about getting a job in radio and said 700 offered me good money to come over there, and I said, no, don't do it, This is black radio, and we need to build up black radio and not white radio. And she said, but they offer me a lot of money. Well, just take the hit. Take the hit for the culture. And she was like, okay. And then they came and offered me that job. And I was like, yep, I'm going, Raven. I'm 700 offered me a great job. And I'm going to take that job and make more money. She got a right to be like, hold on, you a hypocrite, bro. You just told me not to take that job. Well, my situation is different than yours. No, I'm a hypocrite. It don't mean I can't take the job. I'm not evil. But I'm kind of a hypocrite for telling her not to do something that I changed my mind. Okay, cool. That's still me being a hypocrite. But that's just my assessment of it. You may have a different assessment. And for you, that might not make him a hypocrite. But if that's the case, I don't know what is your definition of a hypocrite? What is your definition of a hypocrite? So you've never changed your mind about anything. First, why are you screaming at me? I'm not mad at you. Don't be mad at me. And it ain't even about changing his mind. Yeah. Because I could easily say, well, Raven, I changed my mind. Well, when did you change your mind? Because you told me that last year. You told Terrence that year before last. You told Chad that 3 months ago. Well, I just changed my mind. When that offer came in. I changed my mind when the offer came in. I'm a hypocrite. That's hypocritical. I got a right to be a hypocrite. But I guess to answer your question, I won't answer it the way it's written because it's confusing. But yes, I've changed my mind about things. You're making an extreme analogy in your hypocrite assessment. I don't think I am. I think, as y'all like to say, I'm making an apples to apples analogy. If Deion Sanders, how do we get into Deion Sanders? If Deion Sanders and Ross Freeman, that wasn't homosexual. I know you'll say it was. If Deion Sanders is telling young kids with offers from white colleges not to go there, instead to stay with the black school to build up the HBCU schools for the culture. And then the white school come and offer him a job, but he don't turn down the white school to stay with the HBCU school to build up the HBCU schools for the culture. He leaves. That's a hypocrite. That's almost, like I said, an apples to apples analogy. That's me in radio telling these people don't take that offer with the white schools and do it for the culture to build up something black. And then when I get the offer, I leave. It's not an extreme example. It's apples to apples. It's apples to apples. What would differentiate that from being a sellout? I think this is what differentiates it from being a sellout. And this is just my take on it. I don't really ever believe that he believed in that. Hold on, I got a call coming in. Hopefully y'all can't hear it, but it's in my ear. But I'll elaborate. Let me get this call. Caller, welcome to the afternoon experiment.
Hey, what's going on, Emanuel?
How you doing?
I had to jump in here for a second. And what you're saying does make a little sense in the full sense of this situation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you come to make a difference, you're all in, and systemic problems continue to happen, and people aren't honoring their part of the deal. How do you not square that?
Well,
how do you not just say? So if it happens to be a white school, or it could have been another HBCU that saw his vision and wanted to make it and things that he's asked for come through, then I don't get it.
Well, here's what I would say. Here's how I would answer that. Again, just for me saying that he's a hypocrite for what he did. It would be different if at some point he stopped telling kids, don't go to white schools, come here to a black school to build up the HBCU system for the culture. Like if at some point he became disillusioned and then he stopped selling that bill of goods, then I would say, hey, he just changed his mind and that's just that. It happened. But he never stopped telling his recruits that. He never stopped doing that.
Well, and I think you can still believe in that and not have to change it. Okay, Emanuel, you own a business and you got it started. It's going great, and you start hiring family members, and the family members are taking advantage of you. They're not honoring what they've been asked to do. They've been asked, you asked, hey, make sure you take care of this. I'm gonna leave you the keys, and everything is going in disarray. At that point, you have to start making some hard decisions. You can't run a successful business and people aren't honoring their commitment to you. Your business will go under. And
Okay.
I think this is the same thing that's happening to him.
And
in the
that's
sense of right day one, he got jewelry in his wallet and his phone stolen. But
okay.
he stayed the truth. He
But-
didn't have water to take a bath, but he stayed true. And then he wins a championship, and they were supposed to give him a bump in his pay, and they didn't do it.
Okay.
I don't know how far you can take that without it not being an issue of not feeling like you're trying to hold true what you believe of building up HBCUs.
Okay.
It's just more of a go ahead.
Okay, but again, I'll give you all of that. Which some of it I don't necessarily believe to be true. But I'll give you all of that, okay? For the sake of argument, let's accept Deion Sanders' word that all that stuff happened. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Then why, at some point, didn't he stop telling those kids, don't take the offers to go to white schools, do this for the culture, basically make this sacrifice for the culture? Stop telling the kids that once you've made up your mind that that's not what you're going to do when given the opportunity.
Well, I would say that that's never going to all play out on TV. But I'm sure there was a conversation had that, hey, we won a championship. My staff should have a bump in pay. You guys should have real meals. They shouldn't be passing you Doritos and bologna sandwiches.
Mhm.
This is not the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
We're filling the stadium up, and they're telling us we only made $23,000 off of revenue.
Uh-huh.
And you're constantly seeing these seats sell out. So either someone's stealing the money or someone's not honoring their commitment.
And so once you come to that conclusion, stop telling the kids to not go to white institutions and to come here. Once you look and you lay it all out for yourself and you say, look, I've been robbed. They ain't giving me my money. They stealing money, whatever else you can think of. And you like, this ain't the place to be. Stop telling the kids to come here.
And I guess we'll agree to disagree, and I see your point in that sense. But at the end of the day, I can believe in HBCUs if I went to an HBCU. That doesn't mean that I don't still hold those truths. But if I'm in a situation where it's my family and I want to bring up my staff, there's some good guys on my staff, and I want to make a life change for them as well, then I'm going to have to part ways. Not because I don't believe in the message,
and I don't have a problem with that.
What has happened has made me change the way that I have to do.
So then stop again, and that's all I'm saying. Like, y'all can say all the stuff y'all want to say. All I'm saying is, if you've come to the conclusion that there's nothing else you can do for this program and it's time for you to move on, and you can't build up the HBCU system any more than you already have, stop telling kids to turn down white schools and go to your HBCU to build it up, because you've given up on that. And you already know that as soon as I get an opportunity to leave here, I'm leaving. So stop telling kids to do something that you know you not gonna do yourself. That's all I'm saying. He got a right to do it. Again, it don't make him evil. Right. It don't make him even immoral, but it is hypocritical. Do you know what it means to be a hypocrite?
Absolutely.
So give me your definition of what a hypocrite is.
That's saying one thing and doing the other.
And that's what he did.
Okay, well, let's say it like this, and I'll let you go, but I appreciate your time. There are coaches, we're going to take out color, just coaches, every day. They come to a new program. They are going to offer every student they come into contact with the moon and stars.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, they're salesmen. That's what they're sold to do.
Okay.
They want the best prospects, and you're going to sell that product. And I don't think he's a hypocrite. I think that we, and sometimes not just the black community, but anywhere, you hear people called, turncoat, whatever. But if your situation has you have to leave, that doesn't mean that you didn't believe in the team. That doesn't mean you believe in the athlete that you have. It means that situations have turned you to do something different. Not that you don't believe in the mission. I mean, you can still believe in this mission, hold it true, and not be a hypocrite. Things that have happened has made you have to alter your direction.
But I guess we will definition of what a hypocrite is. He told he did something.
I'm losing you. I can't.
I think I lost him.
Break it up. Thanks, Emanuel.
Hey, thank you. By your definition, he's a hypocrite. Not my definition. By your definition, he said, do this. Again, y'all, get out your seats about Deion. I'm not anti-Deion. I think Deion did good for the HBCU system, for Jackson State, and for Deion. I'm not against Deion leaving. I'm not saying he's wrong for leaving. I'm not calling him a sellout, which I will explain the difference in my mind between being a hypocrite and being a sellout. I'm not saying he's a sellout. I'm not saying he should have stayed. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I still support him. I hope he wins a national championship. And I mean that 100% wholeheartedly. Like, I will be watching Colorado. I ain't buying no gear. But I'll be watching Colorado, excited about their season. I'll be rooting for them. And if that man wins football playoffs, like, wow, go Deion. So I'm not anti-Deion. It was critical. Y'all don't want to do that. Not. And I'm not even saying that it's wrong. I'm just giving a true assessment that it was hypocritical. By your definition of hypocritical, it was hypocritical. So why is it wrong to call a thing what it is? That's the only thing that I don't get. That's it. And Nat Turner says this situation with Deion is unique to black folk. That's not true. That's not true. Again, that's why I don't watch Brian Kelly now and I don't support him. I believe if you are recruiting a kid to come to Cincinnati, telling that kid that you're going to be at Cincinnati, and especially if that kid got an offer from Notre Dame, and you telling that kid, don't go to Notre Dame, come here, make Cincinnati better. Don't go to Notre Dame. You know going to Notre Dame. You're a hypocrite. It's not evil. Well, everybody do it. That don't mean not hypocritical, okay? Because everybody's a hypocrite. Which I agree that we've all probably at some point in our life. Because everybody's a hypocrite don't make the person being a hypocrite not a hypocrite. So that's black, white, whatever. What's your definition of a hypocrite? When you say one thing and do another. That's what he did to those kids. Don't make him evil. Don't make him bad. Just make that was hypocritical. Why do that hurt y'all feelings so? And I know I said I would. Deion Sanders is not Jesus. It's not God. I'm going to get in trouble for this. Deion, give me strength. Believe it or not, that man can be a hypocrite about some things. Why is that hard to understand or believe? Don't mean he didn't do great things for HBCUs. He can do great things for HBCUs. He can have made the stock go up in HBCUs, metaphorically, made the stock in HBCUs go up, brought attention, brought money, brought the shine, the spotlight, accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish, all of that stuff. Still don't mean he can't be a hypocrite. How do y'all not understand that? And now let me explain, before I go, let me explain the difference in my mind between being a hypocrite and being a sellout. I don't believe he really meant all of that stuff about doing this for the culture and doing that for the culture. I think that was just stuff to say. Like people saying, that's what, I mean, you got to sell your school. And so that was what he was doing to sell his school. Not saying that he didn't believe in it, but that wasn't, as he was kind of putting out like, this is my whole life. It wasn't. It was, he was selling his school to people, trying to get people there because he's recruiting. I believe a sellout is somebody who takes money or something of value and compromises their principles for it. That's what I believe a sellout is. Compromises your principles for money or something of value. I don't believe he did that because I don't believe those were his principles. He told us a long time ago he about the money. He told us that a long time ago. And in this particular case, he said, look, I'm about teaching young men and, helping them and helping their lives. I believe he believes that. And whether I do it here making $300,000 a year, which it drives me crazy that people keep saying stuff like he only made $300,000 a year as if that's peanuts. He gave half of it back as if even if he took home $150,000 a year, that's peanuts. It's not. $150,000 a year is a significant amount of money to a whole lot of people. So when y'all diminish it, something wrong with y'all. But I don't believe that was his principles weren't for the rest of my life, I'm going to be at an HBCU. Now, had he come out and said that, no matter what happens, I'm never leaving the HBCU system, and then took the money and left, then I would say he's a sellout. But he didn't say that. So I don't believe he compromised his principles for money. I don't believe he did that. That's how I say he's not a sellout. But you cannot be a sellout and be a hypocrite. You can do great things for people and be a hypocrite. But I know, I'm a backtrack, and I'm going to say he is Deion Sanders. Some of y'all view him as y'all savior, as Lord, and as one who walketh the earth, who can doeth no wrongeth. I understand that some of y'all feel that way. And if I'm hurting your feelings because I'm pointing out that he said one thing and did another. Now, okay, let me ask you this. Can y'all deny that he said one thing, expressed that he wanted those kids to do one thing, but he did another? Can y'all acknowledge that he did that? Let's not call it a hypocrite. Let's call it, I don't know, something positive. Sandersing. And he said he just did a little Sandersing. He told some kids not to go to white schools, to go to black schools for the culture. But then he went to white. Can we acknowledge that he said one thing and then he did something else? He Sandersed a little. Can we acknowledge that? And Sanders is a good thing. Can we acknowledge that? Y'all just don't like the hypocrite because it sounds bad, even though it's kind of factually accurate. It's a very much accurate assessment of what happened, but it don't sound good because it doesn't have a good connotation. Can we admit that he did that? But I don't think he sold out. I really don't think he sold out. I don't view him as a sellout. I don't. Let me see. Janice says he was selling it to get players there. I don't know. She's screaming at me from time to time, so I have to accurately reflect the attitude of the text. He was selling it to get the players there. Too much buildup, or to build up the school, and to make it a better sports program, which he did. No, I see him as a good businessman. I just said all of that. Even with all of that, that don't mean he's not a hypocrite. All of that can be true. But if at any point he told kids to do something that he didn't do or wouldn't do, he was a hypocrite. All of that can be true. Screaming and all can be true. And he still be a hypocrite. But look, I told you I don't want to talk religion. Because that's really what it comes down to. It becomes a religion issue, not a fact issue. Not a fact issue. Every fact that y'all give me, I can acknowledge. But y'all can't acknowledge the simple fact that he told kids to do one thing and then he did another. And that becomes a religious issue. That becomes a religious issue. He's your God. Well, not your God, but he walks the earth and can do no wrong. I just don't view him that way. I still look at him as a human. I'm sorry. I do. And I don't think that it's wrong. It's just factual. But facts, smacks. Ain't that the saying? What difference do it make? Kamikia says, didn't he take those recruits with him to Colorado? Some of them apparently he will be taking to Colorado. Some of the ones that he told, don't go to a white school, build up the black system, he's taking them to a white school. And because it's Deion, that's definitely not hypocritical. Definitely not. Don't go to a white school, build up the black system. Oh, I got a job at a white school. Y'all come to the white school with me. Kamikia says, I think he took all those recruits. That would be taking the entire team. He's been there long enough that virtually every recruit there he brought in. He didn't take all the recruits. He didn't. That's just another fact. He didn't take all of the recruits. I think he only took the ones that he feels like can help him at Colorado, which is smart. Nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with him taking the recruits. I don't have a problem with him taking some of the recruits that he took. I don't have a problem with Deion Sanders doing anything that he did. None. But because I point out the fact that he did one thing and he said another, somehow that means. He took all the recruits that he asked to forego offers from white schools. He didn't. It's not true. Believe it or not, a lot of kids that go to HBCUs, they also get offers from white colleges too. A lot of, not just 4 and 5 star. White colleges don't only offer 4 and 5 star recruits offers. They offer a whole lot of kids offer. If you're a standout, you probably gonna get an offer from a white school. You might not be the best, but you'll still get an offer. So there are kids who go to HBCUs who also had offers from white schools. He had kids, not 4 and 5 star recruits, just regular kids who also had offers from white schools. And some of them are not going with him to Colorado. Janice says, okay, move on. You move on. When I move on, I'm out of here. I planned on being out of here like 40 minutes ago, but people drugged me into this conversation. This is all I'm going to talk about until I leave, which will be in about 2 minutes. So if you don't like it, this is one of them times when you got to move on. So that's just not true. He's not taking all the recruits. But it don't matter. Whichever recruits he take, again, he gonna take the ones that he thinks can help him, that can play in the Pac-12 and in the FBS schools and compete. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Janice says, bye. Okay, Janice, bye. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm not against Dion. And I know I'm beating my head against the wall trying to change y'all religion. I apologize. He is perfect man walking the earth. Perfect. All right, y'all. I got to get ready to get out of here. Veronica says, sports journalist Bomani Jones said essentially the same thing you said, and people understood him. I think they understand. They just, like somebody said, you got me all in my feelings. He holds a really special place. I don't know why. I mean, but I guess if you one of those kind of athlete, I don't want to say what I want to say. If you really love athletes, then he might hold a special place in your heart because he was really good for a long time and he was exciting. He made music videos, he was chilling with Hammer, all of that kind of stuff. He's a cultural icon. And people hold that really close to their heart. So they can't process when someone is not saying nothing but good things about their cultural icon. They can't. No different than LeBron sexuals. Right. They're just Dion sexuals. No, I take that back. I take it back. I don't want to insult y'all religion. He's flawless. No, nothing wrong. All right. Until next time, I'm out here for real this time. I don't care if the phone ring. I hope you have an amazing day. And I hope something amazing and life-changing happens to you today. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace.